Welcome back. Now, if doing this segment today helps even one woman get out of a domestic violence situation, it will be well worth it.
That's right. Today we have asked Dr. Tamika Anderson to join us. She's here to help women know the red flags and how to escape domestic violence situations. Tamika, I am so glad you joined us this morning.
Thank you. Rihanna and Whitney Houston made their famous domestic violence 911 calls when the werewolves were howling at the full moon. And so the reason we're here today is the question is, will the full moon turn your spouse into a werewolf? The last time my husband held a knife to my throat, a police officer took me to the side and said, "Look here, unless you make a change, the next time we come back to your home, it's going to be to take you out of here in a body bag." I am a survivor of 20 years of domestic abuse and violence, and I now dedicate my life to speaking, coaching, and mentoring women to help them know the red flags and escape domestic violence situations. So I have 4 very important questions that you need to ask yourself to determine if you could be the victim of domestic violence. And the first question to ask yourself is, does your spouse physically, verbally, or emotionally abuse you? If so, you could be the victim of domestic violence. The second question, does your spouse or partner control your money? If so, you could be the victim of domestic violence. Third question to ask yourself, do they dictate where you can go or who you can spend time with? If so, you could be the victim of domestic violence. And the fourth question to ask yourself, does your spouse or partner control or monitor your online activity, your text messages, your emails, your phone calls? If so, you could be the victim of domestic violence. And if any of these examples apply to you or someone you know, then you very likely could be the victim of domestic violence. And I highly suggest my talk formula to break the cycle of domestic violence. T is for time. Time is of the essence. You need to make up your mind that now is the time to get out safely. A, ask questions. Get on the phone. Contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE if you believe you are the victim of domestic violence. L, listen. Listen to supportive family, friends, and even police officers who are urging you to get out safely. And K, keep your information safe. Keep all of your important documents in one large envelope safely hidden from your abuser. This way it's all in one place just in case you need to leave in a hurry. And that's my talk formula to break the cycle of domestic violence in your life, because it's time to speak up and get out.
And I know it's so great that you're taking, your life experience and what it took for you to get out of that situation and helping other women. I know you also have put a lot of this information into a book.
Yes, that is correct. The book is called Speak Up and Get Out: How to Survive and Thrive After the Devastation of Domestic Violence, and that book will be out this fall. So we're very excited.
Then Tamika, I'm so glad that you've kind of laid it out for us here, because many of our viewers might not even realize that this is something that they're going through. So once we discover that we are in a situation like this, what can we do to escape it?
Definitely contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline and also your local women's shelter, because they can also help you create a safe exit strategy plan. I would not suggest trying to leave on your own, because it's a very dangerous time for a woman who's in a domestic violence situation.
And the questions that you gave us earlier, I think a lot of people may fall into one of those categories and say, oh, that is me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Maybe I just think that's just the way he is. He controls the money. He controls who I can and cannot see, or he looks at my text messages every day. Right. Maybe that's normal.
Right, he loves me.
Right.
Yeah, he loves me.
And so I love that you're breaking it down to very simplistic questions.
Right, because I was being abused for 20 years and I didn't know it until it got life-threatening, like physically life-threatening. And so I just want other women to know that they're not alone, and there is help out there.
Well, I applaud you for helping other women and for taking your experience and paying it forward. So thank you, Doctor, so much for coming today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And to find out more about Dr. Tamika Anderson and her book, Speak Up and Get Out, A Guide to Survive and Thrive from the Devastation of Domestic Violence, by visiting her website. That's where you can get that information, TamikaAnderson.com.